Deep within a pharaoh's golden tomb, amidst the treasures of a god-king, lies a secret that shouldn't exist. It's a dagger forged not from bronze or gold, but from a metal so rare it fell from the stars. While his other possessions symbolized earthly power, this weapon was something else entirely. A fragment of the cosmos. For the rulers of the Bronze Age, this was the true value of iron. It wasn't the common metal we know today. It was celestial, born from meteorites that crashed into the desert. To possess it was to hold a piece of the heavens. It was, quite literally, more precious than gold. But then everything changed. A revolution erupted. The world transitioned from the age of bronze to the age of iron. Empires that mastered this new technology rose with unimaginable power, their armies equipped with weapons that would have been the envy of pharaohs. This celestial metal, once the ultimate status symbol, had become the engine of conquest. And here lies one of history's greatest mysteries. How did humanity make this leap? The traditional story tells us the Bronze Age collapsed and we were forced to invent a new metal. But what if that's wrong? What if the Iron Age didn't begin with a desperate invention, but with a single, brilliant, and utterly accidental discovery? For decades, the history books have given us a straightforward, almost logical explanation. They tell us that the Bronze Age collapsed. Trade routes disintegrated. The supply of tin, the crucial ingredient for making bronze, vanished, and civilizations were thrown into chaos. Forced into a corner, our ancestors had no choice. They had to invent a new metal. And so the Iron Age was born from desperation. It's a clean, crisis-driven story. But what if we've been looking at it backwards? New evidence suggests that iron wasn't a discovery born from a world falling apart, but from one operating at its peak. The real pioneers weren't desperate survivors. They were the master metal workers of their day, the copper smelters. And a long-ignored theory argues that the secret to iron was discovered not in a moment of crisis, but in a moment of pure, brilliant experimentation. For years, this was just a theory, a compelling idea without a smoking gun. Archaeologists lacked the crucial piece of physical evidence that could connect the world of copper to the invention of iron. That is, until they took a fresh look at a 3,000-year-old workshop once misidentified and forgotten in the hills of the country of Georgia. What they found there wasn't just evidence. It was the crime scene of a technological revolution. This is the workshop at Kvemo Bolnisi, Georgia. For decades, it was classified as an early and somewhat unremarkable iron smelting site. The original archaeologists in the 1950s arrived at a simple conclusion. They found piles of an iron-rich mineral called hematite, and they found slag, the rocky waste from smelting. Their assumption was logical. Hematite in, therefore iron out. The case, it seemed, was closed. But science has a way of reopening cold cases. Recently, a team from Cranfield University, led by Dr. Nathaniel Satulo, subjected those same forgotten slag piles to the tools of modern forensics, electron microscopes, and chemical analysis. And what they found turned the entire story on its head. The people at Kvemo Bolnisi weren't smelting iron at all. They were smelting copper. So why all the iron-rich hematite? The answer is the key to everything. The hematite wasn't the target, it was the helper. These ancient metallurgists were using it as a flux, a chemical agent they added to the copper ore in their furnaces. This flux acted like a purifying agent, pulling impurities out and allowing them to extract more and cleaner copper from the rock. This wasn't a crude first attempt at ironworking. It was a sophisticated, chemical-level understanding of copper production. Now picture the scene. A master smelter is tending his furnace, adding his copper ore and his iron oxide flux. The furnace is roaring hotter than usual. The chemistry inside becomes more intense. And then something new appears in the slag. A strange, metallic bloom that wasn't there before. It's heavy. It's malleable. It's iron. For the first time in history, a human had extracted this metal directly from common rock, not from a meteorite, but from the earth itself. It was an accident, a byproduct, but for a mind this brilliant, it was an invitation. For the master smelters at Kvemo Bolnisi and others like them, this wasn't the end of their work, it was the beginning of a new chapter. They began to experiment intentionally, shifting their focus from copper with iron flux to the direct production of iron itself. This single site in Georgia provides the missing link, the tangible proof for a theory that has lingered for decades. The Iron Age wasn't a sudden revolution that erupted independently across the world. It was a technology, a groundbreaking process that was likely developed in a few key hubs of innovation and then spread along trade routes, through migrations, and by the movement of these highly skilled, sought-after smelters. With the ability to smelt iron, humanity unlocked the most abundant metal on Earth. This wasn't just a new material, it was a new form of power. It led to harder, sharper, and more affordable tools that transformed agriculture. It created stronger, deadlier, and more widely available weapons that forged empires. The armies of Assyria, the legions of Rome, the infrastructure of the modern world all stand on the shoulders of this discovery in a copper smelter's furnace. So the next time you see a piece of iron or steel, remember its true origin. It didn't come from a moment of crisis or collapse. It came from a moment of brilliant, curious experimentation. The story of iron is the story of human ingenuity itself, of seeing the potential for a world-changing revolution hidden within a lump of funny-looking rock. And this leads us to a chilling question that haunts all history. What other world-changing knowledge has been lost? What breakthroughs of ancient scientists and engineers were buried by time, catastrophe, or simply forgotten? The story of the Iron Age was almost erased, hidden for millennia in a pile of misunderstood slag. It forces us to wonder how much of our past is a lie, not because of a conspiracy, but because the true, fragile story of invention simply rusted away. This is why we dig. This is why we question. If the origin of the metal that built our world was a secret for 3,000 years, what else are we wrong about? Let us know in the comments which lost civilization or ancient mystery we should investigate next. The truth is out there, waiting in the ruins.